Welcome to the channel. My name is Monica. So today I'm on the journey to virtually travel. All right. I know it's hard sometimes. Either we don't have the money, we don't have the time, or we have limited resources and we cannot travel. I want to travel the world even though I'm right at home in my little studio. So check out my virtual background. So we're going to be virtually traveling from continent to continent. I'm going to start off with 20 secrets the Buckingham Palace is hiding from strangers. Now, I've never been to Europe. Of course, I know the Buckingham Palace. I don't know anything per se about the structure, about the lifestyle. So I just want to know. I want to peek a little bit. All right, so let's jump into this reaction. First stop, Buckingham Palace. So this video was done by Brightside. I'm just reacting to it. I obviously don't own the content, but this is virtual traveling. So let's find out some more about this.
Ever dreamed about living in a palace? Like Buckingham Palace, for example? Well, it's a nice place, so why not? This ostentatious home is pretty old and huge, but the location is close to schools and shopping. And besides that, it's got a lot of interesting secrets. When you learn about them, you'll get a glimpse of what it's like to live there. So, counting down from number 20, a whopping number of rooms. Whopping, as it's used here, means boatload, overabundance, and of course, glut. We all know that Buckingham Palace is huge, but just to help you comprehend its size, get ready for this information. It has 775 rooms. This number
What?
includes over 200 bedrooms.
What? I would have never thought. I know the palace. Well, I don't know the palace, but I've heard it's huge. But what? That is a lot of rooms. Oh, wow. That is huge. Hopefully one day I could travel there.
Honestly, I can't even imagine so many rooms in one building. At least now I understand why they need so much cleaning staff. But I can't help but wonder how everyone who lives there doesn't get lost. Is there some sort of map that helps them navigate around? Ooh, that's a question. Number 19. No waiting in line. Well, since Buckingham Palace has so many rooms, obviously there should be a lot of bathrooms, right? Yes, it has 78 bathrooms. Way too many toilets.
That is insane. It has 78 toilets. Ah, wow. Wow, this is surprising facts. Things that I would never knew. Never known. I don't think if I didn't go searching for this information, I would have actually known this. So this is incredible. Wow, I didn't know the structure was so gigantic and they had an abundance of toilets. Incredible. I'm sure anyone would love to live there. Besides getting lost and everything. You need a gigantic family there, man.
To clean. On the bright side, and we are, if there's any kind of royal function, none of the guests have to wait in line no matter how large the event is. Number 18. ATM in the basement. You know, sometimes you need to get cash fast, so you go to the bank or start looking for an ATM. But if you're a member of the royal family, you can forget about all that hassle.
Right.
All you have to do is go to the basement of Buckingham Palace because there's an ATM right there. How convenient. Number 17. Moving chandeliers. In the time before electricity, it was a real challenge for the staff of Buckingham Palace to clean all the huge chandeliers. They had to teeter on ladders trying to reach them. But now everything is much easier. Thanks to technology, chandeliers can be lowered to a manageable level simply by pressing a button on the remote control. 16. A fully equipped doctor's office. In case of any
Now, that 100% necessary. Royalty lives in a gigantic palace. Of course, you're gonna need a whole medical center there. Could you imagine having to drive from the palace and be like, "Excuse me, we need a doctor"? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is some great facts. I can't believe I didn't know like almost anything on the list. I didn't know about ATM. Surely that's convenient, needed, necessary. won't find any royalty really going into any ATMs. Be like, I need some money, need a car. No, 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 unnecessary. And yeah, this is incredible.
Any medical emergency, the members of the royal family usually go to a hospital where they're treated by the best doctors in the country. But if there's a situation that prevents them from doing so, they don't have to worry because they can receive treatment without leaving the palace. The doctor's office located there is even equipped for surgical procedures.
Okay, okay, okay. So they do go to the doctors. They do roll up, be like, "Excuse me, I need a doctor." But the fact that they have all this preparation necessary, like absolutely, absolutely necessary. Wow, it's actually really good to know these facts.
15. The largest private garden in London. Imagine 30 football fields, and you'll get the idea about the size of the palace garden that stretches for 39 acres. So, in this football analogy, that makes the palace into the luxury boxes overlooking the 30 football fields. Oh, never mind. The garden is divided into three main parts. Harrison's, which includes the massive lawn, a rose garden, where you can find a famous 15-foot Waterloo vase, or vase, and see 25 varieties of England's national flower, and the yard, which is a less manicured area. Number 14. Secret River. Ooh. The river Tyburn flows under the south wing of the palace, revealing the fact that the building was set up on swampland. Of course, it doesn't mean that part of the palace is floating on water, but a river runs through it, or at least underneath it, adding to the uniqueness of the royal residence. Number 13. Post Office.
They got
You
everything.
probably already have the idea that Buckingham Palace isn't simply a building, but more like a mini
Mini
town,
town.
since the royalty can get pretty much any service there. And yes, that includes the mail. Since the Queen is the Queen, using a regular post office isn't an option for her.
No.
That's why her palace has its own post office. Pretty cool. Speaking of mailing, number 12, zip code. Usually zip codes are assigned to specific neighborhoods, but when it comes to Buckingham Palace, everything seems to be an exception. This truly massive place has its own zip code. If you ever feel like writing a letter to the Queen, or maybe sending her some cute gift, here it is, SW1A 1AA. Just don't address it to Liz. Number 11. Spooky neighbor. It seems like any building that's really old has to have a ghost or two. The same goes for the palace. The site where the royal residence is located now was once occupied by a monastery, and some believe that's the reason why the place is haunted by the ghost of a monk who used to live in that monastery. Do you think it might be true? Sound off in the comments.
I would for sure hope not. And if it is true, they seem to be living comfortably there. Comfortably. Yeah, they're okay. Ghosts or not, they're okay. They are okay.
Number 10. Labyrinth of secret tunnels. Some used to say that there's a secret tunnel that connects Buckingham Palace and London Tube. It's just a rumor, but the royal residence does have tunnels. There's a whole underground system of passageways that allows getting from Buckingham Palace to Clarence House, as well as the House of Parliament. This system serves for security purposes, obviously. But I wonder if the Queen ever used it just because she didn't feel like using a car to get to those places. Maybe they have a golf cart that runs her around. Number 9. It wasn't originally built for kings and queens. Now this one might surprise you, but before the palace turned into the building we know it as today, it was just a 3-story blockhouse owned by John Sheffield, the Duke of Buckingham. In 1761, King George III decided to buy it for £21,000, which is now around $5 million, which is still a steal, and started the process of transforming the estate into a magnificent sanctuary for his wife, Queen Charlotte. However, the first monarch who named it as their official residence was Queen Victoria. She did it after her coronation in 1837. Number 8. Unexpected visitor. During the long history of Buckingham Palace, there were a few cases of ordinary people sneaking inside. In 1838, a 14-year-old Edward Jones made his first successful attempt to get in there. He was caught, and it turned out that the boy stole some items from Queen Victoria's wardrobe. A few years later, he did it again 2 more times. During the last time, he was found hiding under a sofa and got arrested. Number 7. Is it
Listen, the fact that this young sir got in there is crazy enough. How did he get in there? How do you distract a security and be like, did he just crawl all the way in, sneak our way in? Did we like pay them $1, trick them? What did we do to get in there 3 times? Wow.
anybody home? If you ever visit London and find yourself near the palace, you can find out in no time if the Queen is at home. When she's there, the Royal Standard flag is flown over her residence, and when Her Majesty is out, the Union flag. Every time the Queen arrives or departs, a special person called a flag sergeant changes the flags. Number 6. TikToks everywhere. As you can guess, the Queen and all other members of the royal family have a pretty packed up schedule. That's why it's so important for them to know the right time in order not to be late. This most likely explains the number of clocks in Buckingham Palace, over 350. And there's even a special person to look after them, a clock master, whose duty is to wind them all up every week.
Okay.
And boy, he better not be late.
Well,
Number 5.
pun
The
intended.
number of visitors. Obviously, when you're the Queen, you just have to host a lot of events and functions. More than 50,000 guests visit Buckingham Palace every year. Just one typical garden party hosts around 8,000 guests. To feed them all, the staff has to serve 27,000 cups of tea, 20,000 sandwiches, and 20,000 slices of cake.
What? Okay. That is a lot. That is a lot of upkeeping. When you got guests, you bring them over, you have some tea, you have some cake, 20,000 of them. That is an entire mini village. That is a whole event. That is thousands. That's in the thousands. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it's kind of incredible. Like Buckingham Palace. More like Buckingham Village. This place is huge.
Wait, let's pencil that out. Carry the 3. So each guest receives 3.5 cups of tea and 2.5 sandwiches and pieces of cake. Well, you won't go away hungry. 4.
True.
Tours for ordinary people.
Ooh.
If you doubt the Queen will invite you to one of her parties anytime soon, you can always take a tour of Buckingham Palace. Usually visitors are allowed only for a couple months a year, from the end of July to September, because this is the time when the Queen is away. How convenient. However, there's another way for you to see what this splendid building hides. You can take a 360-degree tour online and check out the throne room, picture gallery, and ballrooms without leaving your home. I'm thinking the 78 bathrooms aren't on the tour.
No.
Number 3. Oldest helicopter pad in London. Well, kind of. In 1953, a helicopter landed in the palace garden for the first time, and since then, that spot served as a helicopter landing area without any special construction for many years. But in 2000, the royal family finally decided to build an official helipad because they'd had enough of the lawn being destroyed by the helicopter. The helipad was created from a layer of matting underneath grass, because a concrete one was considered not pleasing to the eye. Number 2. Not a crumb goes to waste. Sitting at work and can't wait to get home and eat those pizza leftovers from yesterday? Well, the royal family does pretty much the same thing. Of course, they employ the best chefs who cook delicious meals for them and the guests every day. But if there were leftovers from a meal, they'd be stored away in a fridge and reused in a meal the following day.
Okay, just before we get to the number one secret of the Buckingham Palace, right? I think this video is so educational, especially for people who have not visited England or London, it is really mind blowing about the facts, things that I don't think I would have just searched again on my own. Maybe I should react or do a video on the 360. Can we do a video on that, or is that like illegal? I have to research. I don't want to get in trouble for doing a video with a live tour. I don't want to do that if that is an issue. So I need to make sure. But let's get into the number one fact, the number one secret. Okay.
Number 1. Birth announcement. As you probably know, England is known for its love of traditions. And even though we're living in the digital era, when the news from all over the world fits on your smartphone, the royal family still follows a really old custom. When there's a royal birth, they place an official announcement outside the main entrance of the palace to let everybody know if it's a boy or a girl, and the weight of the newborn as well.
Oh.
So, which of those secrets impressed you the most? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But hey, don't go tour the 78 bathrooms just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. All you have to do is pick the left or right video, click on it, and voila! Stay on the bright side of life.
Okay, that was super awesome. A lot of facts in that video, a lot of things that I just didn't know. So I'm happy. That was a number one virtual travel. We've traveled to Buckingham Palace. Awesome, awesome, awesome information. I think the one that, well, the three that really impressed me the most is the fact that, number one, they got like 78 toilets, man. That is mind blowing to me. That is mind blowing to me. 78 toilets, 200 rooms plus. And the ATM was very impressive. I suppose having a tunnel is very efficient for security purposes as well. That was mentioned during the video. Yeah, amazing facts. I do see short clips of people, usually tourists, when they do visit the Buckingham Palace. They usually would stand next to one of the guards with a horse. But usually, they say don't touch the horse, and I see people actually going to touch the horse, and I'm like, why would you do that? By the way, I have this huge fear of horses, so I would never in my life, and I need to tackle that fear because I don't think horses are bad. It's just my anxiety. And yeah, I probably will do a video about that. If you haven't noticed, I do vlogs on this channel. Um, Currently, I live in Guyana, so I'm trying to explore the country. And just if you want to see more vlogs, if you want to see more virtual travel content, this is the right place. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video. Let me know, where are you from, and did you enjoy this reaction video? Would like to know. See you next time.